In a remarkable display of military prowess, Ukraine successfully neutralized the formidable air defense systems, leaving the once mighty Russian S-300 batteries in ruins. This remarkable achievement not only dealt a severe blow to Russia's air dominance, but also sent a chilling message to Putin and his forces. Nations that cannot protect their skies cannot protect their future. With the conflicts that took place in the late 20th century, air threats on a world scale increased with the development of technology. Both air defense systems and air threat elements have developed in these days of the most violent conflicts of the 21st century. Air defense systems once again emphasize their importance in the relentless war between Russia and Ukraine. Many air defense systems, especially the S-300 batteries, are among the issues that occupy the agenda. Especially Ukraine's shooting of Russian S-300 batteries gives Putin a cold shower effect. Let's take a closer look at how Ukraine neutralized Russian air defense systems. The Ukrainian war continues with fierce clashes on the eastern and southern front lines. The new developments on the southern front line reveal the impasse of the Russian army. The Ukrainian military has released a new video claiming it shows the destruction of a Russian air defense battery in southern Ukraine. The video was first shared on the official Facebook page by the Southern Operational Command Formation of the Ukrainian Army. The video shows the wreckage, which initially looked like some kind of truck. In the later minutes of the video, a large number of burned and smoking debris can be seen. The post claimed that the targets were a battery of S-300 surface-to-air missile systems operated by Russian forces. The statement said that while performing fire missions, Ukrainian missile and artillery units destroyed an S-300 air defense system battery near Zelena. Zelena Tropica is located in Ukraine's Kherson Oblast, one of the southernmost regions of the country. The region is located just north of the Crimean Peninsula, which Russia annexed from Ukraine in 2014. The Russian forces who wanted to achieve an important success on the southern front line were shot in the heart. The cost of Russia's S-300 air defense system is $115 million, not only in terms of financing, but also in the field of air dominance. Russia has lost a lot of credibility with these attacks. But on paper, the Russian army has the best arsenal against airstrikes. One of the batteries of multi-layer surface-to-air missiles capable of detecting and destroying the best-known systems, aircraft and ballistics, is the S-300. What is the S-300 air defense system? The S-300 anti-air missile systems are Soviet-era military technology introduced nearly 40 years ago with a targeting range of only 75 miles. A workhorse of Soviet and Russian air defense, the system is considered Russia's closest counterpart to the U.S. Patriot air and missile defense system. Various elements of the S-300 include a long-range surveillance, radar engagement, radar and launch vehicles, as well as a command vehicle capable of controlling the entire S-300 battery. Both Moscow and Kiev use the S-300 during their current conflict in early July. Modern ammunition was exhausted due to the protracted conflict in Ukraine. It has been reported that Russian forces are becoming increasingly dependent on such outdated equipment. 6 attacks on Mykolaiv over the first weekend of July were attributed to S-300 missiles. At the same time, it was reported that Russia was increasingly relying on Kh-32 missiles, which were originally designed to sink ships. Versions of the air-to-air missiles were used for attacks on the Kremensk shopping center in June, which killed 18 people, and on an Odessa apartment complex, which killed 20. Despite the original intentions of these weapons, the Russian forces, whose stocks were dwindling, had to rely on the S-300 Siemens and Kh-32 Siemens to hit ground targets. To do this, they were equipped with GPS systems that allowed them to be roughly guided to military targets. While Russia lost its S-300 batteries, Belarus began training on nuclear-capable missiles. Belarusian troops are trying to distract the Ukrainian troops on the northern border of the country. Belarusian forces are training to use nuclear-capable Iskander ballistic missiles. The Russian Ministry of Defense announced on its official Telegram channel that the Belarusian crew had been trained in the use of Iskander short-range ballistic missiles capable of low-yield nuclear fire in the southern military district of Russia since the beginning of April. In the Telegram post, it was reported that special attention was paid to the further development of practical skills in preparing the missile system for use. training for deployment, and conducting combat training launches. As a reminder, Russian President Vladimir Putin announced in March that tactical nuclear weapons would be deployed to Belarus. The announcement was interpreted as the Kremlin's latest attempt to weaken the West's support for Ukraine using the nuclear threat. Vladimir Putin did not say when the weapons will be transported to Belarus. Putin said that a storage facility for warheads will be completed in July. The president stated that Russian forces will also train their Belarusian counterparts in the use of ballistic missiles and modified Su-24 aircraft that can be used to deliver warheads to the target. The announcement was met with international condemnation even from China, which has so far been sympathetic to Moscow's war against Ukraine. The Belarusian opposition condemned the country's president, Alexander Lukashenko, and Putin for putting the country in the line of fire in any future direct conflict between Russia and NATO. A senior opposition official also stated that any nuclear deployment on Belarusian soil would lead to an increase in anti-Lukashenko partisan activity. Franek Vyakorka, chief political advisor to Belarusian opposition leader Sviatlana Tsikhanouskaya, said the deployment of Russian nuclear weapons could make life more difficult for Lukashenko. Also, Ukrainian and foreign officials have suggested that the continued Russian presence in Belarus is intended to distract Kiev, which is planning its spring counterattack, which is expected to focus on the eastern or southern fronts. Ukraine and its foreign partners hope that, as with the previous counterattack, operations around Kiev in the spring of 2022 and around Kharkiv and Kherson in the fall, the next offensive will liberate important lands. Ukraine is keeping secret where the counterattack operations will begin. However, experts predict that the counterattack will begin on the southern front line. The developments in the Dnipro River confirm this prediction. According to conflict analysts, Ukrainian troops managed to cross the Dnipro River in the south of the country for the first time since the beginning of the Russian invasion. Russian war correspondent Romanov confirmed that the Ukrainian armed forces had landed on the left bank of the Dnipro in the Kherson region. A group of up to 30 Ukrainian soldiers landed on the left bank of the Dnipro. Ukrainian troops occupied a beachhead for new offensives deep in the Kherson region, according to a Russian military correspondent. The Ukrainian army is currently on the coastline and is probably preparing to further strengthen their position, according to the information given by Romanov. The positions of the Ukrainian army on the left bank of the Dnipro are relatively close to the positions of the Russian army. Until now, information about the presence of the Ukrainian army on the left bank of the Kherson region was very controversial. However, no official statement has been made yet from the Ministry of Defense on this matter. Crossing the Dnipro is crucial to the Ukrainian military's goal of controlling Crimea, which Moscow annexed 9 years ago. Ukrainian troops aim to advance about 161 kilometers south of the river, at least as far as annexed Crimea. This breakthrough comes just after rumors of a partial withdrawal from Russia's Kherson region. On the other hand, according to the reports of the Institute for War Studies, Ukrainian forces established positions near the town of Oleshki across the Dnipro Delta from Kherson. According to the report, Ukrainian forces are advancing towards the nearby village of Dapchi. It is also claimed that Ukrainian troops held these positions for several weeks and secured supply lines. This claim also shows that there is no Russian control in the region. In summary, Russia has deployed a large number of S-300 and S-400 air defense systems, as well as electronic intelligence and radar systems. In many regions, they would normally be expected to detect and destroy any aircraft in the air covering most of Ukraine. Russia similarly has several systems along the Ukrainian border and in Belarus. Despite all these possibilities and capabilities, there was a significant weakness in providing air dominance from the first day of the war. This makes us think that Russia's not planning a full operation or has a weakness in this direction. The fact that Kiev also hit the S-300 batteries strengthens this possibility. Can Russia win the dominance of the skies in the coming days?